But sometimes we lose media, lost media. Then we all go search for media. Lost media, it's not found, it's lost. Lost media. Sometimes it's well known, we all know that it's media. Lost media. We love to search for media, but it's not that media. Lost media. It's lesser known, lost media. Not well known, but it's still lost. Lost media. Lost media. It's lesser known, lost media. Here with Mr. Shaw.
Welcome back, Simian Squad, to Volume 90, wow, of Lesser Known Lost Media. We have made 90 of these, can you believe it? If you're new, that's okay. These can be watched in any order, and hey, you have 89 more to watch after this, which is amazing. If you're not new to the channel, if you've been with us somewhere in the middle recently, or all the way since the beginning, I want you to do me a favor today. I want you to comment in the comments section of this video what your favorite piece of Lost Media that I have covered in our 89 previous episodes was. I want to know which of these lesser known pieces was the one that really made you go, wow, that's really cool. Today we're going to be covering video games because, you know what, I love video games and I wanted to do a theme because it's our 90th episode, so everything today will be an obscure lost video game. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, 1, you've picked a great time to start, 2, there's plenty more to binge after this episode, so be sure to do that, and 3, I'm going to explain how we do this. So what happens is I start each of these episodes with 4 family-friendly, safe-for-work pieces of lost media, we take a brief break, and then we end with a somewhat spicier piece. And of course, these are all pieces that just don't seem to get covered nearly as much as some of the others do here on YouTube, hence lesser known lost media. With all that being said, guys, you know how it works. Let's begin. Our first entry today is Dracula Hunter, a lost arcade game from 1979. Dracula Hunter, aka Dracula Hunter, is an arcade game released in Japan in 1979 by the company Tenkan Kogyo. There appear to have been both an upright cabinet and a cocktail screen model made for it, though there haven't been any pictures of the former to surface online. While it was popular in its country of origin, its overseas localization saw little to no success. The game was popular enough to be referenced in the manga Game Center Arashi, where a young boy is on a mission to become the greatest gamer of all time, making this game one of the first games to have a pop culture reference in other media. Multiple photos of the ROM board and exterior machine parts have surfaced online through a Japanese auction site, as well as several screenshots of the game in action. The oldest known footage was from a YouTube video uploaded in 2012. The description states that the game was recorded from real hardware. Another video showing gameplay footage was uploaded in 2018, and the uploader stated it was recorded via an emulator. It is unclear whether it's a homebrew ROM or a custom version of the popular arcade emulator Mami. On May 1st of 2018, the complete arcade cabinet was listed on the Yahoo Japan auction site mentioned in the Mami Dumping Google group. It is unknown who bought the cabinet or if it was ever sold. So what's the gameplay, right? That's important for any game. Well, the game appears to be a mix of Space Invaders and Galaxian, where you have to protect a sleeping princess from a horde of vampires and occasional dive-bombing bats. Unlike most shooters of the time, though, the player is able to move around freely across the board. The player must kill the vampires and bats by throwing a cross that loops around them. This can make the game rather difficult, as you need to get close to the enemy to guarantee a direct hit. The player must also complete the stage by hitting the doorway to Dracula's castle with a cross. This can be difficult due to the one-hit death mechanic. So, what is available of Dracula Hunter? Well, as stated previously, the game was popular in Japan, but was not very successful in the United States. Theories suggest it was because of a controversial game Death Race released prior, having gotten public outcry due to its grim nature of using cars to run over pedestrians. It's safe to assume this game was caught up in the public outcry and thus not many arcades wanted to host it. It is unclear how many units were sold overseas or how many arcades had it. A fan-made sequel was unofficially released for the Sega Saturn in 1999 called Dracula Buster, which can easily be found through ROM and ISO hosting sites. Likely the game's sprite graphics were traced or recreated by memory and not raw graphical rips. Similarly, a game called Dracula Panic was released for the Sharp MZ700 home computer by a company called Oak Corp in 1982. This appears to be a direct clone of the game with very similar theming and gameplay mechanics. Now, I will be the first to admit that I suck at old video games, but I am fascinated by them, and this one sounds really cool and definitely does. I do agree with the article on the Lost Media Wiki that in all likelihood this one became obscure not because it was bad, but because of public outcry at the time for games. But I think this one is really cool, and I'd love to start seeing this one in barcades. At number 2, we have Battle Jungler, a lost unreleased PC Engine game from 1992. Battle Jungler, aka Batoru Jungura, was a game that was a remake of a game called Jungler created by Konami back in 1981. A PC Engine, TurboGrafx 16 overseas version had been developed sometime in 1992. The game was shown at the Akihabara LAOX store on December 18, 1993 as part of a PC Engine festival. The game was apparently never intended to have a commercial release. Instead, the game was only playable at the festival as a tournament game, along with another game, Circus Lido 2. There is no clear reason why Konami never intended to release the game commercially or why it was only playable at the festival. The magazine, PC Engine Fan, had shown off screenshots in their February 1994 issue, showing off colorful 16-bit graphics and story cutscenes. Like the game it was based on, the player traverses a maze much akin to Pac-Man as a snake-like creature, defeating other snakes by shooting at their tails to decrease their size. It was assumed this version would have been an enhanced version of the game along with a story with cutscene panels. According to the magazine article, the game would also have allowed for up to 5 players. So what's the status of it? Well, due to Konami never intending to release the game commercially, the game has not resurfaced anywhere online. Again, while I said I don't play many old school video games, I do have a lot of friends who at one time or another were video game collectors, and one of the things they told me is that some of the most sought after pieces were the versions of games that only showed up at tournaments. And since this one is a classic enhanced version of an older game that was only available at gaming tournaments, also to show off the capabilities of the PC Engine, I can imagine that this one would be highly sought after by fans and collectors of old video games. Also, the idea of kind of Snake meets Pac-Man sounds pretty cool, so would love to see this one surface. At number 3, we have Dark Castle, a lost MSX port of the Macintosh game from 1993. Dark Castle is a platforming game developed and published by Silicon Beach Software, first released in 1986 for Macintosh. Designed and illustrated by Mark Pierce and programmed by Jonathan Gray, the game revolves around Prince Duncan, who must defeat the evil Black Knight by going through 4 sections of the castle: Fireball, Shield, Trouble, and Black Knight, dodging objects as well as solving puzzles. It was later released on other platforms by 360 Games, including DOS, Apple II GS, Commodore 64, Amiga, Atari ST, Sega Genesis, Philips CDI, the latter 2 of which were made notorious by content creator The Angry Video Game Nerd's review of the game. The game was developed for the MSX2 and was released on September 17th of 1993. The developer was MNS Soft and the publisher was Takaru. The game was in a 2DD floppy and sold for 500 yen. According to the only known screenshot, it is a first-person dungeon crawler. So what do we have available of this first-person version of the game? Well, an MSX version was released in 1993 by MNS Soft, so we know that much. It was released exclusively in Japan. Little information can be found on either the game or MNS Soft, and its primary evidence for existence is a GameFAQs Generation MSX and the MSX Dojin software introduction index page describing its release information. So this game, which I looked up the other versions of it, every other version of this game, except the MSX version, is a side-scrolling platformer, but the MSX was a first-person game. And one of the things I've never been a huge fan of is when a video game comes out on a different platform in a version that is drastically different than what it was on other platforms. And that's also just part of, I really don't like the console wars where, you can't get any single game you want just by, you'd have to have multiple systems to play all the games you could possibly want to, which Steam has made, great strides in doing away with that. But at the same time, it's like this one, this game was released on all these platforms, and only the MSX had one that was a completely different game, and honestly, in my opinion, a much cooler sounding game. But unfortunately, due to that it was only released on this version exclusively in Japan, it is now lost. But this would definitely be the version of the game I'd want to play, and I do hope it gets found and maybe a fan translation so that I can play it one day. At number 4, we have Captain America and the Avengers, the lost build of the canceled Japanese translation of the NES game from 1991. Captain America and the Avengers is a Nintendo Entertainment System game based on Marvel's Avengers series, developed by Data East and released in December of 1991 in North America and Australia. Despite the game being developed by a Japanese company, it was not released in its country of origin. Japanese gaming magazine Weekly Famitsu had a small section on the game during its development, meaning that it was originally likely to have been meant for release there. But whatever the case, the reason for its cancellation is unknown. The game is a side-scrolling action platformer where the player can choose between Captain America or Hawkeye, defeating enemies and well-known Marvel villains. The game is much different than its arcade original, only being able to play as 2 of the 4 Avengers characters. So far, there is no known prototype version of the Japanese version that have been dumped online. Now guys, while this is the shortest entry so far in the video, this one is my favorite so far. Why? Because Captain America and the Avengers is one of my all-time favorite classic games. I said I don't play a lot of old video games, but I played the heck out of this one. And while I never beat it, I did get all the way to the final boss, the Red Skull. But I played the Genesis version and the arcade version. So I would always play as Captain America. And I actually played it with my cousins a lot, where my one cousin would play as Vision and the other as Hawkeye. Because in the Genesis version, you didn't just have Captain America and Hawkeye. You had Captain America, Vision, Iron Man, and Hawkeye. And oh my god, this game is amazing. If you like classic games, I do highly recommend it, though I do recommend the Genesis version, as it is more true to the arcade version. But this one is just so cool, and to think that it was made by a Japanese developer but never got released in Japan, kind of nuts to me. Honestly, also, the voice acting is terrible, and I would have loved to have heard that in Japanese. Alright guys, we will get to that spicy piece in just a moment, but I wanted to take a brief moment of your time to thank you all so much for all the support you have given this show since we started almost 2 years ago, which is really insane when you think about it. When I made the first episode of this, I was getting at most 50 views a video, and my subscriber count had been stuck for almost a year at like 50 subscribers, and these videos were the first ones to get over 100, and then they would get 200 and 300. Suddenly my channel was attracting subscribers and viewers and views and all this, and all of a sudden my little YouTube project seemed like it could actually become something. And that's thanks to you guys and everyone who's watched these videos, as while I have expanded into other things that these days actually do seem to get more views than lesser known lost media, this is where it started, and this is probably still my favorite video series that I do on the channel. So thank you all so much for being here throughout all of it. This is also the segment where we go over the KPIs, because guys, like I've said in previous videos, this channel is in danger because I need to reach one of 2 goals in order to keep the channel going after the end of this year, and I need your help to do it. I need you to watch the videos. I need you to, I need you to share it. I need you to help get this channel to where it needs to be. Now, for those of you who are unaware, goal number 1 is that we need to get 2,000 subscribers on the channel and an average of 1,000 views per video that's released each week. So the average of 1,000 videos per released video per week. So, and the other side of things, the smaller goal, is goal number 2 is that the channel needs to be bringing in an average of $100 in revenue a month. This, of course, comes from the views, the ads from the views, from the videos that you watch, as well as people who sign up to be members or patrons, or even if they're going to my eBay and Mercari and buying my minis and they let me know, I add that into the calculations. Well, I also changed how I tally my views per week. So I used to just look at the views of the videos that had been released that week and divide them by the number of videos released. And I realized that wasn't doing a clear picture, because sometimes people will see one of the new videos and that will lead them to the old videos. Like this one, we have 89 other episodes. Who's to say you're not going to go watch them all right after this? So what I'm doing is I'm looking at my total views for the week, for the previous 7 days, and I'm dividing that by the number of videos I released in a week, as I feel like this paints a much better picture of the traffic on the channel. So what are the numbers for last week? Well, they're actually really good. So last time our subscriber count was 1,145 out of the needed 2,000 subscribers. We have gone up. We've gotten 5 more subscribers to a total of 1,149, so that is some progress. Also last week, while I did report our numbers at 59 views per video, under the new system, which I did put in a post that I had messed that up, the average was actually closer to 166 views per video. So, what are our views this week? Well, I'm happy to announce that our average views were 445 views per video, which is a huge leap. It is a huge success. It is almost halfway to that part of the goal. So guys, keep those views coming. We are seeing improvement. Thank you. Now again, while I really would like to reach the goal, the milestones of goal 1, that's the one I'm really aiming towards. There is the other one where if the channel starts, making some money, then I am fine with keeping it going. So out of the necessary $100 a month, where are we at? Well, as of right now, the average monthly revenue of the channel is $26.62. Which is up from last week's $22.16. So guys, we are improving every week. Every week the numbers are better than they were the week before. We can do this. I can do this. You can do this. I need your help. Watch the videos, share them around, like, subscribe, consider becoming a member or patron, and maybe go to eBay and Mercari and check out my minis. And if you choose to buy some, let me know that the channel led you to it so I can add them into the figures. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I appreciate every bit of support, monetary or otherwise, that you have given me in this 90 episodes that we've done of this. It really means so much to me, and I'm so honored to be here. And with that being said, guys, let's get to that spicy piece. But please be warned, this one does speak about horrific events and loss of life perpetrated by an absolute piece of garbage individual. So if that is triggering to you, please, just go to one of my other videos and enjoy that. But for those of you still here we go. Our spicy piece today is called Elliot Rodger, the Video Game, which is a lost video game centered around absolute trash human being Elliot Rodger from 2014. I'm going to be respectful, people, to the events that occurred, but I am not going to be respectful to the subject of this video game, guys, because I have seen the videos, I've looked into it. I also do neckbeard and incel content on this channel, and this person is like my least favorite human being of the 2000s. The Elliot Rodger video game is a little-known and now lost piece of media that was about the Isla Vista unalivings perpetrated by Rodger on May 23rd of 2014. The evidence of its existence emerged shortly after the attack, primarily through a YouTube video posted by Reddit user Danny Desktop in 2014. However, with the video itself inaccessible and scant documentation beyond a surviving thumbnail, detail about the game, its developer, content, and purpose remain limited, classifying it as lost media. In 2014, user Danny Desktop uploaded a YouTube video that allegedly discussed the Elliot Rodger video game, sharing it across 3 subreddits: r/indiegame, r/gaming, and r/morbidreality. This occurred a few months after the slayings. The video's thumbnail, still viewable as of now, serves as a primary evidence of its existence, though the full game has been lost due to the termination of the YouTube channel. Without access to the video's contents, it's unclear whether it contained gameplay footage, a review, or simply commentary, and no archived copies have surfaced. The Reddit posts accompanying the video offer no further insight into the game's origin or nature. Additional information came from Reddit user Wide Cecilge, who later claimed on a Help Me Find to have seen gameplay of the Elliot Rodger game. They referenced a TikTok video purportedly showing its footage, but it too has been removed, leaving no trace beyond their account. Wide Cecilge intended to seek more information on 4chan, yet no updates followed. While the thumbnail from Danny Desktop's video confirms the game's existence, these secondary claims remain unverified, deepening the mystery. Little is known about how the game plays due to there being no footage online. It can be assumed that the player takes control of the titular Elliot Rodger, and the goal of the game is to slay enemies that may be modeled after the real-life victims of the shooting. Status: due to the game's infamy, the game has largely been lost and is likely to stay lost forever due to the subject matter. Guys, the reason I put this one on the channel is not because I hope that one day it is found. In fact, I hope that it is never found. But the idea of this game, that someone, the same year this happened, would take the information about what happened and they would choose to gamify it, to make it a shooting game or whatever it was, where you played as a sad little man who was so sad that women wouldn't come touch his pee-pee without him putting out any effort because he thought he was elegant and a gentleman, and that somehow entitled him to a life that he put no effort into obtaining, that he saw fit to go and end the lives of others before taking the coward's way out when the police finally caught up to him. I hate this person. And honestly, I hate whoever would choose to take these events and make a game out of it. Let our final piece today serve as an example that just because something is lost doesn't mean it needs to be found. In some cases, lost is better. And that's our video today, guys. Got a little bit heavy there at the end, but I hope overall it was a very entertaining piece for you today. Again, so excited that we've made it all the way to 90 videos. And in just 10 weeks' time, we'll be at 100. And that's nuts to me. I'm going to do something real big for 100. I don't know what it is yet, but God, I am so excited. This series has been a labor of love for me in my own way of what can I give to the Lost Media community, because again, I started watching these Lost Media videos long before I ever had an active YouTube channel, and I thought I want to do something with this, but I don't want to cover the same pieces that everyone's talking about. That's just repetitive. It's not helpful. What can I do? And I thought, much like I love obscure heroes or movies or anything like that, what about all those pieces that these YouTubers aren't talking about or are barely talking about? I want to cover those. I want for people to know what all is out there. I don't just want to find the big pieces. I want to find the little pieces. I want to talk about them. I want people to know what's gone missing. And thank you so much for the love and support you have given me while I try to do that. So thank you. You guys have made this all worthwhile. And for that, I am so humbled and so thankful, and you are the best. Thank you so much to J-Dog and Towboy. Your continued support as members of my top tier member and patron clubs really does mean so much to me. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much, guys. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Consider becoming a member or a patron. $1 a month gets you access to all of my member-exclusive videos, and maybe go to eBay and Mercari and check out my custom miniatures, which oddly enough was the thing this channel was originally made to advertise. And we have grown so much from the early days of being called Chimera Miniatures to our recent change to Mr. Sean Productions. With all that being said, guys, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Mr. Sean Productions, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. See you next time.